Alrighty guys, thanks for watching the video. This is just sort of a heads up, kind of an informational video for people that are looking at buying an ST. It's just some things that maybe you want to know or need to know. This is a 2014 Focus ST. It's an ST3 package, so it has literally every option for the year that you could possibly get. It has the leather seats, the leather Recaros, full leather, heated. Excuse the mess in here. Full leather, heated. The keyless, the fob, which I think even the ST1s have that. So we're gonna go over some of the things that I do like about the car and some of the things that I don't like about the car. So obviously with the ST3, what I do like is the big touchscreen. This touchscreen is really big and it's awesome to an extent. It's powered by Microsoft, so it works kind of like a computer. The Bluetooth is really fast. It does have navigation. The navigation is really good. The sound system is one of the things that I'm not impressed with. The Sony is not impressive to me at all. I'm not a big fan of it. I think they should have went with the Mustang. Even the Shaker, in my opinion, sounds better than this. So some of the things to get into that I don't like, specifically this one for me is on the ST3 package. So the ST3 obviously has full leather Recaros, which is great. I mean, it really is. It's great. They're super fancy. They keep you snug in there. They have a whole bunch of adjustments. You can adjust, the lumbar and the forward and back, and I mean, there's so many adjustments that you can do. But what I don't like is the fact that they're not ventilated. So basically, in the summer when it's hot out, your back sweats like crazy because they're not ventilated at all. So the ST2s have perforated leather, and so you have cloth inserts right here, and they have little holes everywhere in it, so you actually your back and stuff can breathe up here, whereas with these it can't. It's so hot in the summer. Probably the second worst thing that I hate about this, we're not to my number one yet, but the second worst thing that I hate about this is the rear space. And I understand it's a hot hatch, I get it, but I just had a kid a few months ago, and you really need to get a car seat that is designed for compact cars. This car, I literally have to slide my car seat all the way forward as far as it will go, which leaves the passenger with almost no leg room. I mean, it's literally almost impossible, even for my wife, who isn't very tall, to ride in this thing. We don't take it anywhere with the baby because there is no room. So I understand that that's not necessarily the car's fault. The car seat that I have is kind of bigger and bulky, and they do make smaller car seats. So that's something that I think I should have I need to invest in, is one of the smaller, more compact car seats. The biggest thing that I would say, the number one thing that I hate about this car, is how picky the motor is. So I'm sure if you are watching this video, you probably know a little bit about Focus STs. And one thing that I didn't know before I bought it, which I probably still would have bought it, but it would have been, I just wish I would have known before, is that they have something called, for the people who don't know, it's called LSPI, which is low speed pre-ignition. So basically, in layman's terms, I guess, to say, in pretty much fifth or sixth gear, don't get into boost at all. Just don't. Basically you can rip this thing as much as you want first through fourth and you'll be safe. But in fifth and sixth, just stay out of the boost. I mean, you have to watch. Obviously it has a boost gauge in it. If you're If you have a Focus ST, or if you're thinking about getting one, you're already aware of that. You already know that of that. Sorry. So yeah, the motors are very picky. The LSPI, like I said, no boost in 5th or 6th, and you don't want to get in. You don't want to get into boost before the oil's warm. So these do have the oil temperature gauge on the left, and right now my oil is warm. If I turn the key on, it'll jump up. But basically, until I wait until the oil temperature gets past the first quarter mark on that before I start getting into boost. Again, I guess it can cause LSPI, and it's extreme wear in your motor. These are direct injected motors, and unfortunately, unlike the RSs, they don't come with forged internals. So with the RS, it was obviously quite a bit more for an RS than it was an ST. But with the RS, they have forged internals. Of course, they had the head gasket problem that they ended up figuring out. But, sometimes I give RS owners a hard time. And I say, well, at least we can hold our head gaskets in. But, they have forged internals, so they don't really have to worry so much about LSPI and getting into boost in other gears. The low pros can be a pain. I live in Missouri, and they don't maintain their roads, it seems like, at all. So you do have to be very, very conscious of what you're going over, and you do have to watch the road or know your roads, so you don't end up hitting a pothole or just an abrupt anything. They're really short 18s. They're right here. They're 235 40 18s, which is what comes factory on these. And like I said, they're all right. It's just that they are so thin that if you hit a good pothole, I have blown out one tire. I blew out the rear right tire. I hit a pothole, didn't even see it, and somehow my front end missed it, but my rear end went right through it, and it blew the inside of that tire out. And these rims are made out of aluminum, so they are susceptible to bending, and thank Jesus it didn't bend. So that would be another thing that I might be weary of, if you're going to buy it. Other than that, I love this car. It was a car I've always wanted since it came out, and it's been a great car. I've put about 6,000 miles on it. I drive it every day. I've had it since February, and I drive it every single day to work. And once you get used to the way that these motors are, and not boosting until it's warm, and not boosting in 5th and 6th, it's really not that bad. You just get used to it. It's just a way of how you drive. You just adapt to it, you overcome it, and it's over with. So it's not a big deal. Once you get used to it, it's just the way that you drive. The spark plugs can be kind of high maintenance. I luckily haven't had any issues with it. A lot of people go with NGKs, and I did not. I changed spark plugs shortly after I got it, because a lot of people gave me advice on how these things, I guess, eat up spark plugs. I always fill mine with 91 octane. It's never, in the 6,000 miles I've had it, it's never had anything but 91 in it. The owner's manual says that you can run 87, but it's a turbo car, so in my mind, you run 91 unless it's tuned for 87. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate comments that say, oh, it says that you can run 87 right in the manual and Ford's smarter than you. You're probably right, but it's my own personal preference. It's an extra, 20 cents a gallon, and it holds 12 gallons. So I'm spending an extra $3 or $4 to put in some really good gas, or at least a lot better in my opinion than 87. So like I was saying about the spark plugs, people say they go through them about every 10,000 miles. I haven't reached 10,000 miles on my spark plugs. I had about 57-ish thousand, maybe 58 when I changed mine. So, and it didn't even need it before. I just did it to know where I'm at on my maintenance intervals. I run Rotella T6 in it, 5W40. I run Rotella T6 in everything I have, and a K&N oil filter. And other than that, I don't. I'm trying to think if I have any more complaints. I really don't. You know, the biggest downfall, like I said, is the passenger legroom with a car seat. I guess even a back passenger, it would be the same. You know, this car is not very spacious on the inside at all. For the driver, it's great. You know, the seats really hug you in. They really keep you snug to the car and make you feel like you're connected to the road. But the passenger room in these is just atrocious. You know, it's terrible. My wife drives a Kia Optima, and you know, of course they have a turbo version available, but she has the not turbo version, and I mean, there's legroom for days in that thing, and there's absolutely no legroom in this. This is where I sit comfortably when I sit in this car, and you can see the amount of legroom that's down there. It's not much. So, you know, even if you're above 5'7", your knees would be touching the rear seat. So, you know, it's just something that you have to be weary of. If you're single or something like that, or you got a girlfriend or boyfriend or something, and you just have one other passenger, then it wouldn't be so bad. But to have kids, I would strongly consider buying something else. You know, maybe like a BMW 335 or something. You know, obviously they're more powerful, and you know, they don't have LSPI issues, stuff like that, and they do have legroom for days. Well, at least a lot more than this one. So, but yeah, like I said, thanks for watching the video, and if you have any questions, just comment and let me know, and I will for sure answer as fast as I can. So, thank you guys.